And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. It's Spence from WP Launch Fi on our Friday office hours. Great to see you. Today is a bit of a wild card. I'm getting better at running this myself. I'm going to do a little audio check, but it's how to dump your SaaS CRM and save thousands, maybe millions of pesos, denares, zlotkis. But in any event, you could save a lot of money by bringing things in-house. And today we're going to do a little hybrid show because normally I'm either pre-prepared with slides or I have some very specific things. Today's a little more of a free form. We've been having a really good turnout on Fridays, and I want to welcome everybody in as you come in. So I'm going to take what's happened this week in terms of people asking me questions, people's concerns, people's like amazement and wonderment and what they can now do with WordPress as a service. Plus, I had a very interesting week that I can share with some of you guys as well. Good morning. Sharon is coming in. What I found is on Fridays, the way I've positioned the time of this is that it's not for everybody to show up live, but almost everybody does get a chance to see it on the replay. And I do broadcast. Today, I'm powered by Orgain. Delicious. I had my morning walk. It is still sort of summery here. And many of you guys have been following me on the Insta or LinkedIn or Facebook, where I don't really talk about the business of WordPress per se, but I talk about being a creator, a WordPress implementer, and or just mindset, because to me, that's the biggest thing here. And the takeaway from today is, how is it that you can do more with less? How can you simplify your business? How can you, either for your own WordPress websites or those of your clients, get more done while owning and controlling it? And so with that having been said, I'm just, it looks like I'm live, and I'm just posting out the rest of my notices to get everybody in here. And I'm going to just dive right in. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk some theory and some practice, but it's going to be a little bit more of a free form, which I like. So let's talk about the basic concept in general. And then I'm going to go back to the screen. First of all, one of the things that I've learned, it's going on 19 years now, 19 years in WordPress. I've learned that essentially over those 19 years, I've been doing the same thing that I've been doing for the last 45 or 50 years as somebody who considers myself an entrepreneur. That is that I am finding pain that's something that I experience, that others experience, figuring out how to solve the pain, turning that into a productized service that I give away for free until it's validated. And when it's validated, I get social proof from people I've helped, and then I go market it as a product or a productized service. Now, emphasis on the word service, because we are in a world now, and by the way, I am like a kid in a candy store. I am officially 57, but this year, with all the tools online, starting with the whole array of things we can talk about with ChatGPT, I am like, I've woken up and I'm 10 years old again with all the toys, because now I can do on my own the kinds of things that used to take me days, weeks, months, 5, 10, 100 people to help me with at a huge expense. But because of that, I've also found in my conversations with almost all of the people who call me for free, from the various referrals at WP Fusion and so forth, that people at least in their mid 30s to 40s and older feel overwhelmed. And what they want is also a return to the relationship kind of world of business that we all used to have when we were younger, starting with the model of something like a concierge in a hotel. Starting with when I was a kid and I was traveling, you'd call a travel agent because they were the only ones who had access to the very special proprietary systems. When I started my real estate career, to have access to the MLS required a real estate broker, and it was printed on books, if you can believe that nonsense. There were all these gatekeepers. So when we live now in a world where there are literally no gatekeepers, literally, and an individual such as myself gets a wonderful surprise this week, and I get a call on my Calendly, and it's the very Mr. Matt Mullenweg calling to talk to me about various things regarding the business of WordPress. I think to myself, I'm living in some kind of weird parallel universe because At 57, I've been through a lot of different successful careers and lots of drama, lots of failures, lots of personal and business kinds of things I never expected. But I didn't really, in my mindset, think that in 2023, I'd be 57 years old talking to hundreds of thousands of people and having the founder of what runs half the internet call me up for a chit chat. You have the very same things available to you. And what I can do is deliver all of those 19 years of experience, all of my relationship contacts, all of my knowledge of the inside of how things are working on WordPress, plus how things have worked forever in the business of human relationships, human psychology, marketing, and sales, and give it to you spoon fed in a format that for yourself, for your own business, or for somebody who's like me, wants to have a nice lifestyle intermediary business as a WordPress implementer. I could save you all the pain, all the trouble, all the expense, all the hassle. Just like most recently, before all my back stuff happened, I took my family to Toronto because my youngest son is a big hockey fan, as I am. We stayed at the Four Seasons. Now, I don't pay retail or full price. I found a great deal. But by staying at the Four Seasons, you can immediately see the difference between that and something that, like, I normally stay at. I stay at like a Hyatt Place or a Marriott or one of those resorts that have all inclusive. But by going to the Four Seasons, even on a special deal, and having that concierge experience, I immediately saw clarity in the types of business that I would do if I was offering that as well. That is, it's not about the room. By the way, there's my mom who's now living in my house. I'm helping her out. She's had a stroke. She's doing her exercise, so she may be showing up on camera. There's a whole nother conversation we'll talk about. The concierge experience is what people are very happy to pay for today. And I am literally, for most everybody who I've had a business conversation with in the last 2 weeks, rediscovering the fact that they have, like you may, their own niche of interest or specialty or customers or clients or pains that they're interested in solving. And now, with the help that I can deliver, they can immediately get to that business. They can avoid all of the flea market problems and all of the where do I find my customer problems. Because at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're delivering a personalized solution for a specific group of people. Now, you're saying, but Spence, you said we're going to talk about dumping your SaaS CRM and saving thousands. Well, that's the point, isn't it? Instead of you being in the business of doing what I do, like a concierge at a hotel or a travel agent or a restaurateur or somebody who offers, all these kinds of specialty things that have to do with WordPress, I instead can be your point of contact for what you need to do for your business. And any business today, whether it's, again, your own website or the business of servicing your niche clients who are also interested, has to have a CRM. It has to have a way to track the journey. I'm going to do it this way. To track the journey of what at first the leads, then the prospects, then the customers see or click or do or buy. And the term CRM, customer relationship manager, is something that's very recently taken over, if you ask me, from what used to be email lists. A couple of years ago, when I started out doing WordPress, we would talk to various niches, and I would teach this as part of my business, such as people who own yoga studios. And we would say, what email list program are you using? And in those days, they would say something that's a dinosaur today, like Constant Contact. And I would ask them, why Constant Contact? And they had no idea. Oh, because the people at MindBody Online said so, or because another yoga teacher said they were using it. But then what I would ask them is, well, do you know who's on your list? How many people are on your list? What's the last thing you did with your list? Do you know if the people on your list have ever bought anything from you? What do you think is going to happen with them sitting on the list? No clue, just crickets. So the difference between an email list and a CRM is, Sharon brings up a good point here. That's actually true. The difference between an email list and a CRM is that a CRM can be programmed to automatically do the things that you as a business owner can't be bothered to do on a regular basis. Or if you do want to do it, you would like to do it in an asynchronous way. In other words, you can program in a bunch of things like myself when you have a quiet moment on a weekend, on a Saturday or Sunday, but that he will continue to deliver the things that look and feel personal for the users who are coming to the WordPress website, and yet still use the very same tools that are available in a normal email communication platform, like automatically sending up follow emails or reminders or encouraging with gamification people to do stuff. And the second difference between an email list and a CRM is the automation. A CRM, by its definition, allows automation using, I got to put this in the way here. Let's make me a little bigger and the thing a little smaller. Let's see. Nope, that's the wrong direction. I'm going to go back this way. The second difference with the CRM is that it allows you to create automations that not only work via email or cookies, but work on the WordPress website to control access, to change the visibility of items, to change the style of the website, and so forth. I'm also going to adjust. I know I shouldn't do this while the screen's live. I feel like because I've got the thing at the bottom, the lower thirds, there we go. I'm going to bump myself up a little bit. I don't think I can zoom anymore. Yeah. All right. So back to the point of when you have got a need, as you do for a CRM, there are about 58 to 59 very popular SaaS-based CRMs out there. And there are one or two worth mentioning plugin CRMs. Now, the two, just to get it out of the way, would be Groundhog.io and Fluent CRM. I think both of them have their merits, but there's a huge difference, and that's why I'm only going to speak today about Fluent CRM. Groundhog has a different business model, and I've spoken to the founder in the past who's doing an outstanding job. Adrian at Groundhog and his whole team are building what I would like to call as a framework in a plugin. Whereas Fluent CRM, which is Shah Jahan Jewel and his team, are building a plugin that has features that interact with other ones. And the big difference between that, I've emphasized in many, many shows that I've been on, many things during the year. The future of WordPress as a service, one of the topics of my conversation with Matt Mullenweg, was that I think the future of WordPress is going to be very similar to the future of media. We will not be going to the flea market to buy parts, or at least that won't be the primary mechanism. I'm sure it'll still be available to a certain extent. Good morning, Chris, by the way. So in that frame, or in that reference, I suggested early on to Adrian, but he's doing just fine without my help. I don't want to have a framework plugin that I recommend. I need a feature plugin. If we're going to replace one SaaS service with something that's essentially a SaaS service and a plugin, that's not doing me or my clients any favor. So Fluent CRM, not that any of you were worried about what it was going to be, is the CRM alternative in a plugin format to the CRMs that you have, let's say, as SaaS products. Now, in several conversations this week, people were asking me or telling me or sharing with me about why they feel frustrated when using even some of the more popular CRMs. And we're going to go over a few of them. But the popular SaaS CRMs, HubSpot, Salesforce, the old school nobody uses to start anymore, I don't think, Infusionsoft, Entreport, Drip, MailChimp, the big front runner, the one really bringing up a lot of attention, Go High Level, which I've done special tools about. Now, one of the things I want to mention about Go High Level, the reason they're doing so well, in my opinion, is that they've got a pricing model, which I myself have adopted for my own versions of stuff. And I think they have a great marketing team because it's $97 for one person. It's $297 for unlimited use of your customers. And that in and of itself is an incredible advancement from what, let's say, ActiveCampaign is doing, where they just keep charging you more and more as a tax for every person you add to your list, which is like a tax on your success. It makes zero sense in the world of data being obviously free, because it doesn't really cost them much more. I mean, at least if it's incremental, it doesn't cost them much more if you have more names on a list. I can appreciate if you used more storage or more bandwidth, maybe. Even that is like almost to zero cost. But adding more names on a list because your business is growing and then being charged thousands of dollars a year for that is ludicrous. Go High Level avoids that entirely. They just say unlimited people. And they have made a bet that that's going to be an attractive model as it is. Similarly, when you're using Fluent CRM, the primary benefit on that on that value proposition is that you can add for yourself or your clients an unlimited number of people, an unlimited number of contacts. And in doing so, I provide you the same owned and controlled method, all in WordPress, that is tightly tied together. We're going to talk about the communication channel at zero extra cost to yourself or your clients. And yet you can charge full retail value for it if you're an intermediary. So to recap, value proposition numero uno on why a CRM is necessary is because one needs that in order to track the journey of any visitor to a site, whether they're a cold lead, a prospect, an actual customer. You, if you're doing it for yourself, need that. You, if you're an intermediary, need to use that as your modern relationship hook, the glue, the sticky thing that keeps people with you. And I think this is Scott actually, but I'm not here. Waika, I don't know who Waiki64 is. I like the name. If you want to tell me who you are, to see about replacing Go High Level. So Go High Level is an amazing product in the scope of SaaS products. But in terms of whether you could do the same things, I'm here to show you, to talk about, you could do exactly the same and more, do it better, and own and control it in WordPress using Fluent CRM, which is part of the LaunchKit stack. And because I can deliver that as a baked in, pre-made, pre-documented, figured out by Spence over all these years solution. And because I have access to everybody in the WordPress ecosystem, by the way, now I can say all the way up to Matt Mullenweg. Literally, I can say that and prove it. I have the ear of Matt Mullenweg. I can demonstrate how WordPress as a service is the way to go for anybody who has got a WordPress site. Okay, let's step back a second because there was a metaphor that I had used for many years. First, I'm going to take an Orgain Power Shake break. For many years, I explained to people, how does WP Fusion, that's the plugin that will allow WordPress to connect to any external or internal CRM, how does it operate in a visual way? What's the metaphor? And I would say, think of it like planet WordPress, and you've got a moon orbiting the planet, which is in the day an external CRM. The people and the things are all happening on the planet. You're building stuff, you're constructing stuff, people are living their lives. But that moon has a two-way radio via WP Fusion that allows people's journeys, people's lives on the planet to be tracked. And the moon has all the logic, the automation logic, and the communication logic to respond back to the planet, to change things, show things differently, to do automated follow-ups. Now, in the days when we only had external SaaS CRMs, WP Fusion was a miracle, and it still is for 59 or so CRMs. But just think about it like this. Why would you want to choose to have an external satellite orbiting your planet when everything else in Planet WordPress is on the surface? There are plugins in the actual stack because, number one, you don't have the need for two-way communication via an external API and a webhook back down. You no longer need a transceiver to talk to the orbiting satellite. You've got right built into the PHP layer, your MySQL layer, you're at the same place where all your software is running is the CRM. Instantaneous communication. Number two, having the CRM function in the site means that you own and control everything about the experience for yourself or for your customers. And that becomes the most enormous upsell opportunity or benefit of all time. For example, Go High Level talks about snapshots. Go High Level talks about building sales funnel, building sales pages, building all this website stuff for your customers, which is true. But what they don't tell you is it's their proprietary gilded cage. Every single thing you do there, and they hope you'll put 1,000 people in there, guarantees you will never, ever, never, never, never get out of there without a huge amount of effort. Whereas if you build that stuff in WordPress with the same underlying tool set that I've got curated for you with the Gutenberg cadence blocks or with the Fluent CRM automations, it's a universal asset that you can take out of your own freezer and use again and again and again. Or for your customers, you can create once and sell it 1,000 times. Because if all of your customers have the very same stack with this launch kit that I'm offering, and I'm supporting it, and it's documented, and we have this growing audience of users, the big difference between the SaaS or a CRM or SaaS solution like a ClickFunnels is everything you build there only works there. Everything you build here in WordPress works across all WordPress, but you own and control it. You can reuse it. You don't have to worry that they turn you off or you decide not to pay them $279 or $599 or whatever it costs you per month. Even for me, I build in from day one the ability for you to take a snapshot and leave with your own stuff or anybody's stuff. That is an enormous amount of leverage. Number 3, the scaling costs, the opportunity of upsell value. It sounds super sexy when a SaaS service like a ClickFunnels or a CRM like a Go High Level says, look at all the stuff you can do. You can connect a form that allows your customers to get a lead in and text them on their phone. And I kind of go, oh, these guys are geniuses. They've taken a feature that's existed for 15 years in WordPress and they just put a fancy label on it and immediately everybody understands why they want it. Well, guess what? Features like taking a form input, adding it in your CRM and texting it to yourself or your customer with Twilio is available to everybody. And I think Twilio currently offers their service. Let's just double check. I think Twilio, the service is like 6/100ths of a penny for every text message. I'm spelling this really bad. Let's take a look at their pricing. So if we look at Twilio, which is the actual communications channel, pricing is insanely low. SMS. Here we go. Yes. So even if you did toll free, it's, I don't even know what this is, 0.0079 penny per text. MMS is 2 cents. But SMS, I mean, that's insanely low. That's just inconsequential. If you had a busy site, you might have a couple dollars a month for that. Brilliant marketing on the CRM's part to say, look, that's one of our key features. And that, by the way, is one of the things that almost everybody offers. Now, Chris, now I'm confused. This is Chris. So their phone system is built on top of Twilio, correct? And their email system is on top of Mailgun. Their brilliance is in the fact that just like me, we're all using the same, I don't mean me personally, but like the launch kit. We're all using the same Lego blocks under the hood. The difference between them and WordPress is that I'm leveraging the WordPress framework, the WordPress ecosystem, the WordPress people, open source, versus they obviously have a proprietary system built with whatever it is under the hood. And even though they've integrated the same kinds of functions and tools and other things that are available to all of us, including myself, when I offer it to you, baked into the launch kit or launch flows or one of the other things, it's available to you to do anything you ever want to do. And I think that's huge. Question coming in. So can you also have an app like Lead Connector? Yes. So one of the things I want to show you, this is really, I'm I'm not going to show lead connector per se, but I want to show you a metaphor that's very similar to this, because this also comes up in all my conversations. So with the system that the Launch Kit offers, having WooCommerce at the core, even if you're not taking any money, you can use a product like Metoric. Metoric is an add-on, a third-party service that taps directly into the database of what you can do with WooCommerce. Now, I have a client project that I'm working on. This is not live data, so I'm not revealing anything here. But with this, somebody can essentially have incredible power over viewing every minutia of detail and make it into a profit center for yourself. Why? Because, for example, many of the business owners don't care to look at a dashboard. They want to have a custom sales report emailed to them. You can create such a thing with Metoric. The cost is maybe $20 per month for you. You could charge $200 or more a month just simply to have a digest of how their business website using LaunchKit is doing. Now, think about this for a second. I want to just take a pause. Everything under the sun connects in some way to WooCommerce or WordPress. It's a fact because it's running nearly half of the internet. Because you have access to PHP and JavaScript and jQuery at the base code level without the need for an API, there is no concern about having to, how does this connect or not? There has yet to be anything I have ever found in all these 19 years that has not worked with WordPress. It's just a question of which thing works how. That's where my job comes in as a concierge. Spence, I'm coming to Toronto. I'm staying at your Four Seasons, and I want to do X, Y, and Z. I want to go to the Maple Leafs game, and I want to go down to the West Side, and I want to go up in the CNN Tower, and I want to eat at the sushi restaurant. It's like, no problem. I got you covered. And if I don't have it already baked, I bake it. You guys have seen me. I'm going to show you today. Here's a perfect example. I love how WooCommerce has this My Account dashboard. Now, by itself, the My Account dashboard is powerful, but you can't modify it other than using a third-party plugin called the Yith plugin, which I've been using. But since we've already got cadence blocks and everything else, I'm like, that's just ridiculous. Why not we do this in-house? So as you can see here, let's turn off the comments. This is a cadence block dashboard that shows everything I want to show to somebody, including, by the way, progress of an enrolled course, library training, anything you want to put in here, because it's built just with the Cadence and Gutenberg blocks. But when I click on the Manage My Account, I've taken this one step further. It occurred to me a couple Saturdays ago, why not just give full control and customization over the My Account dashboard tabs instead of using a plugin for that? So I wrote a little snippet. I'm building it into the Launch Kit. It's already demonstrably here. And in doing so, I'll show you what it looks like on the back end. I did a whole Friday office hours on this, by the way. Here, you, for your customers, can take this ready-made pattern, which is just the Cadence tabs. And you'll notice, because it's using the tabs, I can just do whatever I want with each tab, right? Like I can unlock this, drag it and drop it, do whatever it is that I want to do. By the way, the locking function is really, really super cool because I can control or uncontrol what each individual tab does or the whole layout does. It gives me this ability, if I want, to stop the customers from hurting themselves. But just at the level of like style and colors and everything else, you can see here that I have unlimited capabilities of doing anything I want, on the whole site, just as easy as I would for the rest of the design. Now, I personally was able to bake this in like a piece of cake, and now it's going to be offered as a feature. Now, they can do this all the time in a SaaS CRM, and they do, but you don't have a lot of input on it. Whereas here, if I give you this, you still have like infinite levels of control over what it is that I've handed to you, because it's made with the very same Lego blocks that I offer you ready to go. And a second ago, I was talking about the patterns. So you've seen this before, but I curate out all of the best patterns and I offer them for free. So for example, maybe you need some custom pricing table that I built for a customer or somebody else has done in the community. Maybe here, like here's the custom My Account dashboard where you can actually, play with it. All you have to do is copy the pattern code and you go on over to your website. And if I was to do this from scratch, you just go to a blank page and you just paste it in. Well, in that case, let me refresh the page. Sorry, because I deleted something. I got to refresh the page. But normally you just would paste this in and it would work perfectly fine. So let's just do it from scratch. So I take these out. And this ability to have not only snapshots of the whole site, but also to have the ability to use and modify patterns. Ta-da, there's the new pattern that I just pasted in. Is incredible. Why? Because remember a couple minutes ago, I was saying how you can make assets that you can reuse and resell. There are people out there who will pay $97 to $200 a month, and I am not exaggerating here, for one function, a one-page website that has a form that people can register and give their email, phone number, and send them a text message. There are people, like I've shown you before, who have a parents club, who just literally need a two-page website, one to say what they're selling and the others to do the checkout. Having this My Account area is an upsell where you can say, I'll charge you another 40 or 50 bucks a month for this, or 100 bucks a month. But you can also charge, as I do, let's talk about that, for the actual service itself of setting it up. I'm going to come back to this Black Friday thing in a second, but I want to show you this because when you talk about like where I can do you the best benefit, save you thousands of dollars, by moving you from a SaaS CRM into a CRM in the dashboard with all the other things that are available, you are not just going to get from me the technology or the software or the other stuff that's built into the 97, but just like this, you will get solutions, not the least of which is my own thing here, where I would say 95% of the people who call me for free end up either subscribing to LaunchKit because of the value that it offers, or they do an hour of support, or they just jump right to 2 weeks or 4 weeks of my getting them over the hump. In the very exact same way, if you take, for example, the LaunchKit client and it retails with everything that the $97 does, but it's $60. You could charge $97 or $147 or $197, and you will end up being able to make $37, $137, you name it, by doing exactly the same stuff that I'm handing to you in a ready-to-go format. You're just literally reselling retail what I give you wholesale. There's also been a conversation, that's where the Black Friday thing comes up. I'm going to be releasing a competitive pricing plan for the client stuff where I'm not going to do unlimited, but I'll probably be able to offer you a larger number of clients, somewhere between 5 and 10, for a fixed price of, say, $297 per month. So instead of buying each one for $60 extra, you'll be able to buy a package where it's you plus X number of clients for $297 a month. And the reason that I can do that is because, as I've suggested, we use rocket.net as our hosting partner. You can take and host anywhere you want. You can use your own servers, but same idea here. Rocket.net has my similar philosophy of they have $30 roughly per month if you get one site. I do an agency plan. I got 10 sites to start at $10 each. I'm closer to the hundreds of them, but you'll notice they're just charging $10 per site. And when I talked to Ben, the founder, I said, Ben, what's going on? Am I getting crappy hosting here for my clients? He's like, no, whether you have one site or 1,000 sites, it's just one of you. I have the same philosophy for what I'm doing with WP Launchify. So if I give you one primary account plus 10 clients or 100 clients or 1,000 clients, and I'm only dealing with you, I can give you a great deal that gets better with a larger number. Now, that's more honest pricing than, I don't think they're dishonest, but then the CRMs who say unlimited clients, because you know what the difference is? You can do unlimited emails to me, and those of you who have been my customers, many of you who are here today, realize that I am known, that is my thing, for giving incredible concierge personal service. And the reason I can do that at scale is because I have stopped the thing that caused everybody so many problems, which is going in and spending my time fixing Frankenstein monsters or fixing problems of shiny balls. Instead, by offering everybody the same kit with the same stuff, with all these things figured out, and by the way, also documented. So if you go to WP Launch Kit, to the documentation, I use Launch Kit to build a documentation area with all the same features like faceted search results. And 99% of what you want to do has already been figured out, and you've already got the tools and the software built in. And if you're ever stuck, I can help you. Now, that's the third, or maybe it's fourth now, thing that's a difference. Remember, I started today, and I think I want to come back to it, of like, how can I save you thousands of dollars? Well, in my daily walk in the park kind of things, I talk about what good is a software or a technology if, when you get stuck, even for one little thing, you have to get in line at Disney World and wait 12 hours to get to the front of the line for somebody to help you out. And I'm not pointing fingers, but you just go and search Google or now ChatGPT for what are the problems of the bigger CRMs, HubSpot, Infusionsoft, Salesforce, even go high level. A, the support is non-existent for the things that you're actually trying to do. In other words, yes, if there's a bug, if there's a problem in their platform, maybe they'll eventually get around to telling you what's wrong and helping you. But that's not going to happen fast. Number two, you cannot, they will not, it is not built into the service, get any advice or information about how all of the things you're doing in the business, outside and inside, are going to be helped or fixed. That right there is what I am actually selling you as the concierge. When I went to the Four Seasons and I asked the person who's the concierge, I need this or that or the other, they helped me regardless because I was their customer in their hotel and I'm their valued client. When you go to a SaaS CRM, the thousands of dollars you're going to save or the thousands of dollars you're going to make are because what I can offer you in the launch kit is 100% concierge level help across your entire business. That includes psychology, marketing, automation, membership, transactional e-commerce stuff. It could include connectivity to outside services, but it's also with 50,000 almost actual real world customers and my technology connections inside of WordPress. Where can you get that for $97 a month? Nowhere. And yes, it sounds super sexy, and it sort of could be to go get yourself a ClickFunnels or a Go High Level account or a Kajabi or even a Sendinblue, where unlimited everything. But isn't that a little bit like staying at like Holiday Inn Express, where, yeah, you get the room for $29. Awesome. You can get 100 rooms for $2,900 or whatever it is. But you don't really get the same experience, do you, as one concierge at the Four Seasons? And what is your time worth? What is your frustration worth? What are you going to do when you put all of your clients and customers inside of that gilded cage being offered by a Go High Level or any of these other CRMs, even a ClickFunnels, and stuff goes bad? They have a bad day. Their emails aren't delivering. Their hosting isn't working right. You have a customer that breaks something and you can't figure out why. Well, when you're with me, you're in concierge land with the launch kit. A, you 100% own and control everything. B, it's 100% native WordPress stuff. So any of the people who make the stuff could be participatory in helping you figure it out because all of us have access to your code and your stuff. C, you have the ability to ask questions and cross over all of the things about running a business. D, I have pricing that allows me to train you, help you, teach you, get involved now or in the future, and do it in a scalable way, because what I'm preventing you from doing is adding one more externality. Let's wrap up with that. And then I want to talk about this bundle that I want all of you guys to consider doing who are seeing this, who are our customers or not. There are only two externalities that somebody has to have with WordPress: a payment gateway, Stripe, and an SMTP carrier, a trusted intermediary that will deliver and send your emails. You cannot get away without those. The third externality, which is going to go away, was something like a Calendly for doing your scheduled calls. And I still use Calendly, but I'm very quickly moving to our internal solution, Fluent Booking, which is an amazing clone in the WordPress ecosystem of what Calendly does. And it will be, of course, as part of everything in the launch kit. It already is if you want to start using it. You don't want any more than the two minimum externalities, because as it is now, everything that you do or make or borrow or emulate or I help you with can be resold, reused, moved, taken. You never have to be feeling like you're stuck in any gilded cage with me. In fact, it's the opposite. The only reason you're with me is because I continue to give you value in one way or another. But in doing so, you've got this incredible ability to literally build a recurring revenue business that you can sleep at night with, which to me is important, because if you have more than those two externalities, it reminds me a lot of when I was in the real estate business. I had about 120 apartments in about a dozen locations. And every year in Chicago, of course, the weather would get cold. When the weather would drop below freezing, I could not sleep at night because I always knew somewhere, somehow, something was going to go bad. Those are externalities. In the software business, I don't worry about frozen pipes anymore. If you have WordPress sites that are running on rocket.net with my being an intermediary concierge, they're backed up on a daily basis. You could back them up on an hourly basis if you want. If something hits the fan, 10 minutes or less to move a site, 10 minutes or less to move a site to another account or to have it fixed. Now, I can't tell you how incredible that is versus waiting at Disney World for them to say, well, I'm sorry you've been in line for 12 hours, but they're working on, it's a Wonderful Life or whatever it is, small world. Now, that is a big difference on top of everything else. Let's talk about this Black Friday thing. I am not a Black Friday deal kind of guy. However, this is more hand in hand, and then I'm going to wrap it up for today. Great questions. And by the way, thanks for all the validation, everybody who's shown up today live. All right. I just discussed with you guys the notion that power shake break. Hold on. I am going to be making a competitive offering to the $279. So just to get this out of the way before I come back to the Black Friday thing. If you were to go to the current pricing table, you'll see launch kit is $97, hands-on support an hour. These are incredibly popular. 2 weeks of Spence hands-on, 4 weeks of Spence hands-on. If you get client sites, each one with everything else included except no direct contact between your client and me. Remember, I'm going through you. $60 a site. You rest easy. Everything else works the same. We can do projects for your clients, and I just do them in the background silently as your partner. I'm going to be adding a likewise priced at $297 version of the launch kit client that will essentially combine these together. So it'll be your main site plus a number of clients, so that it will still be a great value proposition, and it'll make it possible for both of us to say, you know what, like, if I get past that number of clients, I'm going to be swimming in the dough anyway, and I'm happy to add on. I will have volume pricing above that. But just as a frontline offer, that's going to be something that for sure is going to be coming out next day. The Black Friday thing really boils down to this. It's $297. Many of you who are live are already subscribed at $97 a month. So this is no problem. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking what was otherwise those $300 an hour sessions, and I'm saying, if you pony up one time the $297, you're getting obviously the launch kit. And in your case, you'll just get a second site. But you're also going to get what I'm putting together, or what I've put together, all of the best of how to use launch kit, all of my insider tips and tricks, and the high-end stuff. The idea being is that I can deliver in 4 one-hour sessions. They'll all be recorded, but they'll also be live. in a one to many, not thousands of people, but like in dozens of people probably will sign up for this ability to show you everything how to do how I do it, making money with your own sites or with your client sites using LaunchKit. So it's 4 hours of literally as close as you can get to one-on-one training, but instead of paying $1,200, it's in a small group session, very similar to what we're doing now with StreamYard, will be recorded, and you will be able to get the same kind of follow-up and feedback. And the price of that is essentially like I'm throwing in the training for free. Now, it is a one-time payment. I'm selling this just as a thing, so I'm not going to be like crediting you $97. Buy it or don't buy it, but it's essentially $1,497, 3 months of launch kit included. You can cancel at the end and not have it continue billing you the $97 if you don't need the second site. But the truth is, if you follow what I'm suggesting, you will probably already have a client or two that needs that site from you anyway. So the idea to me is that if I can share in this efficient manner, rather than one-on-one at $300 to one to many, I can help you all accelerate into becoming more profitable and avoiding all of the extra time it would take, because we have so many potential things you can do with LaunchKit. I just would rather get you right to the business. So think of it like Go High Level had this, by the way. I thought this was amazing. Go High Level has this, I think it's like their agency certification or something like that. I think I was looking at it yesterday. I've seen this before. I have to go look for the link, but let's go High Level certification. Oh, there it is. Think of it like this. I mean, I'm not certifying you with this, so this isn't what I'm selling you, but like they're charging essentially $970 for a badge and for some sort of extra information and community. And the reason that they can do that is simple, because what they're going to hopefully do with that, for the people who are still interested, is they're going to give people a little extra leverage about what to do with Go High Level and how to sell stuff. That's what I'm going to be doing here. And I would encourage everybody, even if you're in my audience now, spend the $297. It's going to a good cause. I got to feed my mom. I'm just joking about that. But it is to a good cause, because what I can guarantee you is that when you're using the LaunchKit system, along with my own proven methods of how is one dude with a bad back and 3 kids and a mom he's taking care of at his own house for the while, how can I do it all? It's because I figured out after all these years how to grow the type of niche focused business using WordPress and common sense that any of you can have. And in doing so, you are just going to have more profit, spending less time, but doing things that are really meaningful to you. I would guesstimate in the same way, like the concierge who works at the Four Seasons seemed pretty darn happy. I mean, she didn't seem upset with her job like the person at the Holiday Inn Express was. Because when you deal with people that you have a one-to-one relationship with and you're giving them resolution to their pain or painting a rainbow, they love you. And I don't know if you guys care that way about me, but I love you as my customers, as my clients. There's no other way I would be getting up at this age and this stage of my life and doing this 24 hours a day for 19 years if I didn't really love it. And I do. And I love it more and more every day, because things just keep getting better and cheaper and easier. And in doing so, I can have these interesting calls and conversations and help people around the world, like many of you here. And when I see the looks on your faces when you go from like to it makes me feel like my existence is I'm fulfilling my destiny. There's a good comment here by Chris. Many of the people using it and selling it are low to mid-level tech savvy, not the time to understand Zapier and like plug and play, which is really true. One of the things that's really important, and then we're going to wrap it up because we're almost at the top of the hour, is when you start in WordPress, I know there's going to be continual evolution. I spoke to Matt Mullenweg about this. We've had 3 phases of evolution, right? It started out just HTML, CSS, PHP. Then it went to the third-party page builders. And now we're at the Gutenberg level. And there's all kinds of plugins and services that have come along with it. but I am curating it like the owner of the Lego store, the IKEA store. I'm like the concierge. I'm curating it so you don't have to immediately suffer the variability. And if you need something done, one of my recent clients, Scott, mind-blowing amounts of stuff he's doing with the very same launch kit. I now have been able to, with the rocket.net relationship and with the software authors and with my politics, finally curate what WordPress as a concierge service could be so that you can take all of that stuff and you can deliver it to your clients. And that is very, very different. Thank you very much for bringing that point up. Than what you're going to get when you go to a high volume CRM where they're not set up they haven't had 19 years in a community with running half the internet. They're just focused on, look, we got really good software. It does what we promised, but you're kind of on your own. Sorry, Charlie. And that's it. And I don't blame them for it because they're brilliant at their marketing. But it's like everything in life. If you go down to the auto parts store and come away with boxes of parts, that's not the same thing as going down to the Mercedes dealer and driving off in a new, SL 550 or something. All right. I want to thank you guys, as always, for supporting what I'm doing. I would very much like to put in my last pitch for everybody to go to wplaunchify.com. The link is Black-Friday-Launch-Bundle. You can get it I'm going to probably put it on the front page, but you can get it if you go to the shop page. You can see I have a very limited amount of things here. Just click here on the Black Friday. I would like everybody to sign up for it, because then I will be surely having a great cohort, at least first cohort of people in the actual live classes, which will enliven me even further and give great value to everybody. Because one of the things that I do believe is happening already, remember when I was talking about the patterns and stuff here, okay? The more people who use the stuff that become part of my audience, become part of my crew, the more cool things we can all share. Because remember, we're all using the same stuff. The reason that Go High Level can start doing certification is because they've got 60,000 agencies using it. I don't have 60,000 people using LaunchKit. I've got in the hundreds. However, I know from the WordPress ecosystem that each of those potential agents could have hundreds of customers. So it's literally like multi-level marketing. Very quickly, we can have the energy that we all want and need to grow this into something that is more than just Spence top down. It becomes an ecosystem of stuff that you can parallel sell or offer or do whatever. And I'm really looking forward to those days. So please do join me. By the way, all the things I do, even the checkout at WP Launchify, it's all in the kit. It's all there. You guys are terrific. I love doing this. By the way, the update on my back and my mom, for those of you who are in cahoots with me, my father's alive too, but my mom is here in town. She had a very tiny stroke on her birthday, which is at the end of October. She's fine, but because I have a ranch and because you guys know that it was already set up as a rehab facility because I had double back surgery, she's come to live with me. My 12, almost 13-year-old is having a ball, like playing with a new kitten, because him and my mom are just great energy. I love having her, and I have the ability, the freedom, the time to run this business and still do all the stuff I need to do with my walks and my naps and my pickleball and my band and my kids' hockey and my mom in the house. I'm not in a job in an office. I'm not wearing a suit anymore. I don't have the pressure of frozen pipes and tenants. And I love that. And those of you who have communication with me understand. You ask me a question, boom, it's immediately answered, or it's answered in the same relative time frame. And for that, I feel like I'm living the dream, and I can share that dream with you guys, because the freedom of this means I don't need to be, living on a top of a hill in a mansion somewhere. I'm living the real life right outside of a beautiful park in a very vibrant community. And I'm just living life. And I think that's what it's all about, right? These human relationships we can all have now if we use technology, but not being trapped by technology. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys soon. Talk to you in the next video.